Welcome everyone, KD here, and this is part 4 of my tutorial about blueprints, classes, and how to communicate between different blueprints. Today I want to show you how you can create a player character or a character blueprint, and a little bit give you the basics on how you can use it, but because I already made a very detailed tutorial about play character, how you can create it and different stuff like customizations, adding movements and player inputs and things like that in it. I will make this tutorial very short and keep it very on very basic level. If you want to know more, in the description down below you will find a link to my how to create a player character tutorial. It's a 5-part tutorial and gives you insight in different parts of it, and it is much more detailed than what I do here. This tutorial is really just for the basics, so you see what different types of blueprints there are and how you can use them. How to create an active blueprint: add new, go to blueprint, and here right now we always used actors, and now we can here use characters. There is also a pawn. This is something I never used much. It's kind of, if you the description is, a pawn is an actor that can be possessed and receive input from a controller. So maybe if you can move something around that is not your player character, you may want to use a pawn. As example, if you have a drone or something like that, or then you can create a pawn for your drone, and then your character can possess this drone and drive around with the drone. This is an example, but I won't go in detail with pawns in this tutorial series, or at least not for the beginnings, because like I said, this is not something I use often. What we definitely need is a character. These character blueprints we will use often. This looks like this. Now again, label everything correctly so you will find it, so when you see it you know exactly what tasks you can do with this blueprint. Don't just call it new blueprint 2. When we open this, we will see it looks very similar to our active blueprints. However, and you can create your own character blueprint out of the active blueprint. Character blueprint is actually just an advanced version of your active blueprint, and it has already different stuff in it that are very useful. Here on this left side we already have a capsule component, I mean a collision component, and the collision component that keeps us on the floor. It will, when we walk into a wall, stop us from going further, or if you have just a blocking volume, it will stop us from going further, or it will stop us from going through other objects and other things like that. That's why we already use a capsule component in here. If you want more detailed collision, you have to add more collision boxes on your own. You can do this here in the add component. And then we have here collisions. We have box, capsule, spheres, and things like that. Then we have an arrow that shows us in which direction is forward, what is important if we move, and if we add our skeleton mesh. So for character blueprints you mostly use skeleton mesh and not static mesh. That's why we already have a skeleton mesh in here. What we also have is character movements. What is very important here, we can change different stuffs like how fast is jumping. As example, there are a lot of things: walking speed, running speed, swimming speed, and things like that. We can change this all in here. And there are other functions. So I go through this a little bit in more detail in, like I said, my other tutorial about how to create a play character. I don't want to go too deep into this. Like I said, you can change here different settings like speeds of your characters and things like that. You can change a lot of numbers, but most of the numbers are, for most projects, already fine, to be honest. And that's kind of, these are all the things we really need for our character, and so it's good to have it in here already. And again, here it's the same like I showed you in the last part. We can, here in our mesh, we can select our skeleton mesh for our test dummy, and we can also add our animation. So we have an idle animation in here. What we want to do with the skeleton mesh, we have to see that it is in the center of the capsule. So we can select this, the capsule. You see capsule half height is 88. We are now in the center, so we select here in the location -88. And then we see that it fits quite well. Already. So if it doesn't fit, so if it's too big or anything like that, then you of course can change here the capsule shape. And then of course you can set the material and things like that. So you can set this in here if you have advanced customization, if you can change the skin, can change other things, the costume or anything like that. Then you can go to the event graph, and we see here we have our events again that I never use. So I will delete them. With the right mouse, you can add new custom events, and you can set for the mesh here, skeleton mesh. You can set the test dummy, and you can set different test dummies. You can also create an array. We've get the copy and then make an array. And then you can actually set different skins, test dummy 2, test dummy 1, test dummy 2, and then with a variable, just as example, you can then change it between these two at certain points or certain inputs. What you also can do in here is, like I said, in keyboard inputs, as example with numpad 2, then you may want to change this event, this one here, from 0 to 1. If we press 2, then we change the character. Here, that we also have to, it's not enough to just change the number, we also have to call the event we just created, the custom event 0. So when we press now 2, if we set this as our play character in our map, then we just have to press 2, and then we can change the skin. like that. Of course, you can go to our level event and also call, sorry, of course we need, let's copy paste this, actually just need this, and then we select our new blueprint 2, that is our actor blueprint, so we have a reference to it, and then get a copy, and then we can go here to call function and then call our function. So when this happens, when we see, when it not, it will look like this. When it looks like this, that means we forgot to compile and save this blueprint. So now we can go to call function. Okay, now we see it looks like an event, and so we can start this event here if we want to do that. Like I said, it's maybe if you have an advanced customization option or something like that. Before you play, you set which hat your character has on and things like that. Yes, so now again we have to reference our character in our map. So if it's not a play character, if it's an NPC with a little bit advanced options, then you just can put it in the right location if you want to, and then we have the reference to new blueprint 2 in here. If it's our play character, it's a little bit more difficult. Then we need for that a game mode, and I will show you. So if you want to create a new game mode, you go to add new blueprint class, and then you will find here game mode base. You click this and you can create a new game mode that is now new blueprint 3. Again, label this stuff correctly, and then our new blueprint here under world settings, we can select our new blueprint 3, and then here under default pawn we can select our new blueprint 2, that is our actor. And if we now play this map, our player character should be new blueprint 2. Yeah, because we didn't set the camera or anything like that, it didn't work. I couldn't show you like this. We also got an error, doesn't matter. Again, this is, maybe I will show you how to create an actor. You add to your capsule spring arm, and then you add to the spring arm a camera. Don't choose scene camera, just choose normal camera. And then you can set the position of your camera. That's fine for now. So the spring arm means that the camera is connected to right now to the center of the capsule. So you can change here the length as example, so you can zoom in and zoom out and things like that. And this also means that that the camera is always on the same distance to your capsule. So if you walk around, the camera won't stay in place, it will follow you. So that's why we have a spring arm. If we play now, we should see from our camera view. Yeah, so we see from our I can't do anything from here because I didn't set up any inputs like walk around or things like that. If you want to know how you can do this, please in the description there are links to my how to create a play character blueprint, and you will find more details there. This is an important part. I would really, if you're a beginner, also recommend to watch this blueprint there. Again, this is only for the basics. I don't want to go too much into details. It's already a very long tutorial. Even if I try to keep it short, it's very long. But here I really want to keep it on the blueprints and how to communicate between different blueprints and so on. Also, if you remember from the last part, we created our this one in here, and our sphere collision has generate overlap event. If we have now here in our capsule component, if we have the generate overlap event on, now when we walk with this actor onto the asset we created before in this collision volume, we triggered this event we selected there, just for extra information. Again, this is a tutorial, more detailed tutorial I made about interactive actors with a widget on it, and you can then select the widget. I will also put this in the description if you want to know more. I would recommend to you to definitely watch the last part I did in this tutorial session where I created this actor blueprint. So it's not part 4, this is part 4, it was part 3. I'm sorry about that. Yes, and with that, like I said again, if you want to know more about character blueprints, please watch this other tutorial that is in the description. So we can move on to the next blueprint class. Thank you for watching.